Yeah.
So today we will discuss test analysis and
Yeah.
design. The word itself is an explanatory, okay? One.
Please,
What
can you
te-
make the screen?
can you see screen full?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this mean? Test analysis doesn't mean that we are analyzing the test. Test analysis and design mean we are analyzing the requirements and designing the test cases, okay? Requirements or specification and designing the test cases. So what happens? Let me explain you. The activity during which general testing objectives are transformed into tangible test conditions and test cases. So you can see at this phase what happens. We have the objectives. We transform them into tangible test conditions so we can test them and prepare test cases. Yes, converting the objectives into tangible conditions. So we have the high level, low level conditions. Now we have to go detail so we can test them and design test cases. Yes. So what are the tasks we have in this phase? Reviewing the test basis. What does this mean? Test basis mean you can say requirements is another synonym of requirements. Okay. Tasks. Let me put tasks. Tasks. Major tasks. What is that? One is reviewing the test basis. If you analyze this word itself, what does this mean? Test basis mean from where you can derive test cases. So it can be requirements, it can be legacy system, it can be anything. Okay, user stories, it can be anything. But if you want to understand what does this mean, that does means requirement, business specification requirement. From where you use that source of information, you use that source of information to design your test cases. So what does it mean? You are reviewing the requirements. Yes. Evaluating the testability of the test basis. Yes. Evaluating the testability of the test basis. Now you have the requirements, you analyze them. When you analyze the requirements, you will be able to come to the conclusion that these requirements can be testable or no. Yes, this is a very important concept. What does means you cannot test requirements. First thing, if the requirements are ambiguous, then it becomes difficult to test. Yes, there are some preconditions, and you might not have access to that particular area. Then you won't be able to test it. Understood? So I give you go to London ASAP. Can you, if this is a requirement, or you can say the computer should return the processed result as soon as possible. Can you test this requirement? No.
I didn't understand.
Okay, let me explain you. So I have a statement requirement, I will say requirement, okay?
Okay.
And I wrote that requirement that the system should return the processed results as soon as possible. This is a requirement, okay? One statement can be one requirement. Normally you need to break it down. So I want to say here, as for example, I'm using a calculator and I'm expecting if you put 2 plus 2 equals 4, it should return ASAP as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But from the testing point of view, this requirement is not testable. Why? What does ASAP mean? Yes? Do you know what does it mean? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 minute, 1 second. So the requirements should be specific, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Requirements should be clear and specific. Another requirement you have, sometimes another requirements you cannot test. You might not have access to that area, yes, due to the preconditions. Have access to that particular area due to some preconditions, yes, something you can call it out of scope, in scope. Sometimes certain things have not been built yet, and because of that you cannot test them. So here you will decide whether you can test the requirements or no. Identifying and prioritizing test conditions. What would be the next one? Identify and prioritize test conditions. What does this mean? When you have the low level scenario, from there you have the test cases. Yes, from the low level requirements. So from these you have the test cases. Yes. So before you come to the test cases in the low level scenario, you identify what are the test conditions you are going to test. Based on these conditions, you will prepare your test cases. Yes. Prioritize the test conditions. What should be tested first and what should be tested next or in the last? Why? Priorities is important based on the criticality of the requirements and what the business says you. Deliver them first. Based on that, what you will do? You identify these conditions and prioritize them and test them. Designing and prioritizing high level test cases. From the requirements or from the test basis, you will design and prioritize high level test cases. Why high level test cases? High level test cases might have high level scenarios. Then you exactly do the same thing, design and prioritize low level test cases. So, as for example, high level scenario, verifying the bank balance. Yes, this is an example. Or verify the customer is billed correctly. Yes, billing the customer correctly. This is your high level scenario. From this high level scenario, you can make it to the low level. Yes, as well. How low level? What are the areas going to impact when we build the customers? Yes, what are the scenarios we are going to test, or what are the scenarios going to have impact on the billing a customer? Now what happened? You have the test cases ready. Can you execute these test cases? No. When you need to execute the test cases, you need to have test data. You want to you want to test a calculator, but what you want to test in a calculator? Addition, multiplication, subtraction, or division? When you decide you want to test it high level, then you need to go to low level. What are the test data? Yes. So what are these test data? As I said, 2 plus 2 equal to 4. So 2, another 2, and plus equals 4 is your test data. As for example, you are testing a bank balance, then you verify that your bank balance is £1,000 ATM. Yes, at present. You want to verify that the bank balance goes up, then you need to have the exact amount how much up you want to bring it. Then you say £100. Then you deposit £100 into your accounts and verify that your bank balance goes up by £100, and that becomes £1,100. That is your expected result. So whatever £100 you are depositing would be your test data. Understood?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to process any customer, then what you will do? You enter the customer details, name, address, date of birth, etc. They are all test data. Designing the test environment setup. Test environment. What is test environment? Whatever you need to test the particular, that is test environment. What are the software, hardware you need? It is a test environment. So you need identify, design the test environment setup. So you will design what you need it. What type of database you are going to use? Yes. What system you are going to use? What configuration you need to have in the database? What configuration you have? If it is a web based application, then you say what configuration you need to have for the web based application. The versions, browsers version, software version, they are all test environment. You need to set them up so you can test it. So when you work in any organization, you will not have one environment. Sometimes you have unit test environment. In that, the developers do unit testing. Okay. Then you have SIT, system integration testing environment. So based on that, you integrate some of the things, and based on that, what database you need to have, what are the data you need in the databases, everything you need to set up. Then you have pre-production environment. So it is similar to the production. Firmware version when it goes to the customers or when it goes to the end user. All these pre-productions and the production when you released it, that particular environment. So it is actual environment. Exactly, it is written in the specification. What type of database you need, what versions you need, everything would be there. It will in the production environment. So you need to set them up. Identify any required infrastructure and tools. What infrastructure you need to carry on your testing and the tools you required. Yes, how you are going to test in the infrastructure way. And what are the tools you are going to use? There is a chapter for tool support. If you are automating it, then you will say I need Selenium. Yes, I need so many test ng JUnit. If it is cucumber BDD, then cucumber tools log4j if you are using log4j. Then there are so many different libraries there. You need to consider them as well. Then what other like automation tool you are using? Then code configuration tool. What tool you are? IntelliJ or Eclipse? Based on the money you have, you can buy. If it is free, then you can use Eclipse. Identify any required infrastructure and tools. Creating bi-directional traceability. What you are going to do? Creating bi-directional traceability. Do you remember what is traceability? No.
Okay.
Traceability means matching the requirements with the test cases and test cases with the requirements. You need to match so you can make sure that all the requirements are covered. There is no uncovered requirements. You have test cases for literally every requirement. When you prepare the test cases, I give you example again, you have 10 requirements. But you have 50 test cases. So you can't divide each requirement has 5 test cases. One requirement might have 10 test cases, one requirement might be having one test cases. You might not have designed any test cases for any of the requirements, so you need to verify when you match them. Yes, when you match them you will realize what requirement is covered and what requirements are not covered. Yes, any question with this one?
No.
Then let's go to the next, implementation. What is test implementation? Now we have everything ready. Yes,
Mhm.
so we are going to decide how we are going to carry on our testing. Yes, that process itself is test implementation. So let me give you the definition of test implementation. The activity where test procedures or test scripts are specified by combining test cases in a particular order and including any other information needed for test execution. The environment is set up. So what does it mean? We are saying in here, in the previous phase we have the test cases ready. How we are going to execute them, what order we are going to use, how we are going to execute, that is test implementation. You can't execute the test cases as you want. Yes, you need to plan based on the requirements, based on the priority, based on the preconditions. You need to have the test sets and execute them. The test sets, the test sets are prepared based on the preconditions. As for example, uh, you want to test bank balance. When you are testing bank balance, verifying what are the sequence you have logged in into the system. Go to my account, deposit money, withdraw money, and check bank balance. Yes, you need to go and in the end log out. These things should be in the sequence. Otherwise, you won't be able to perform testing as per expected. You might be making mistakes if it is not performed in that particular sequence. You won't be able to identify defects or you miss it. Okay, so what are the major tasks? Finalizing and prioritizing test cases. And cases. So now you have all the test cases ready. Yes. In the previous level, you have designed all the test cases. Now you need to finalize what test cases you are going to execute and prioritize them. What test cases you will execute first? Why you need to finalize the test cases? You have 5,000 requirements. Yes, 25,000 test cases. Can you execute all these test cases the same time? No. First thing is no. Another thing is that those test cases are for the full system, but we might have built only one area of the system. So we need to verify what area of the system. So we need to pick up test cases for that particular area. Yes, and prioritize them. What test cases you need to execute first based on the conditions, preconditions you have. But in agile methods or agile methodology, you won't have this kind of scenario. Why? Because you are selecting only specific few requirements and you will have specific test cases, or you don't have even test cases. These scenarios will be provided to you by the business analyst, and this business analyst have, when they provide the scenario, the scenario will be divided into front end requirement and back end requirement. So developers they will work those requirements together most of the time, front end and developer. So one particular requirement is built, you are going to test this particular requirement. Yes, and that is known as, in agile this is what happens. So you don't have that many test cases, you have only limited number of requirements and you test them. Build the test data, environment, etc. Now you have finalized what test cases you need to execute and how, in what order. Then you need to prepare the test data and set up the environment. Yes, you need to start executing. You want to say that you want to process customer order. So when you put as an example, then you need to have the customer details, address, etc., etc. So you need to prepare those test data, developing and prioritizing test procedures. What you do in this process, let me first write it down. Build test data. Yes. In the next one, developing and prioritizing test procedures. So now at this phase, you will develop and prioritize how you are going to execute your test cases. Test procedures means the order in which you are going to execute the test cases. So you finalize and prioritize. Let's go all together again. So you decide how many test cases you want to execute. Now you decide what test cases you want to execute from first to bottom, priority. Yeah, some of them you left over in the end, and this will be first. Then you build the test data. Now you have the test data. Now you have the test cases ready. Now you need to decide in what order you are going to execute them. Yes. So you build the procedures and prioritize in even that procedure also. That procedures you prioritize even what should be executed first. Yes. Creating test suites from test procedures for efficiency. What is creating test suites? You have decided that you are going to execute test cases in the specific order. Yes. Now you have the test cases, so you need to prepare the test suites. Let's make a test suites in here so you can understand. So what is test suites? If I need to explain you in simple way, I can explain you that you bunch the test cases together which you can execute the same time in sequence. Yes. So let's do one process that. First, login into the system. You have one test case. Yes. For this requirement, you have yes. I'm writing. Then verifying bank balance. This is one test case. It won't be like this, but title of the test case. So you can say deposit fund, withdraw fund. These five test cases are there. Can you execute these test cases the same time?
No.
Yes, you can execute it. Let's write it down so you can see. So login into the system. Now let's prepare the test procedure. Procedure sequence of execution. Okay, I'll say. In what order you are going to execute the test cases? Login into the system with valid username and password. Yes. Now then test case 2 is log out the system. If you log out you won't. So let's say the deposit fund. Deposit fund into the account. Verify the bank. Yes. So what happened? You log in into the account, you deposited some fund and you verify the bank balance. Yes. There will be another test cases. Check the bank balance, something like this, but we don't need it now because you can repeatedly use the same thing, verify the bank balance. Then you have verified the, so you can say, let's withdraw some fund. Now you are withdrawing the fund. After withdrawing the fund, what you need to do as per the process? Normal process. You withdraw the fund, then what you will do? Then you verify it. Yes, then log out. Can you say that I have executed the same test cases the same time in sequence? Yes. You log in into the account, you check the bank balance if you want that. Verify the bank balance, it is £1,000. Then you deposit £200. You deposited £200. Now verify that the bank balance has gone up by £200. So the bank balance is £1,200. You verified it is working. Withdraw the funds. You can withdraw around £500. Then you verify it. You have withdrawn the £500. Then the bank balance should be £700. So you verified it and then you log in. So these test cases you can bunch them together. You don't need to execute one by one. Okay, login. That's I log in into the system. It saves time. Why we need test procedure? Because it saves time. When you if you're just testing login, log out, no, but this process, oh, based on the conditions, you can bunch these test cases together. That is called test suites. And the test suites you can decide based on the procedure in what sequence you are going to order execute. Yes, understood? Or do you have any question?
No.
Now you have this everything ready. Yes, then you create execution schedule. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
what time you are going to execute the test cases, who will do what and when. This is important. Yes, so there are 20 people there in the team, 20 testers. Then you need to decide all these 20 testers what these people are doing. Yes, preparing test harness. So if you are doing automation testing, then what happens? Hold on. Excuse me. Okay, so what happens when you are automating the test cases? Then what happens for the automation testing? You need to set up the environment so you can automate the test cases. That particular process is called test harness. So you need to set up this as for example Selenium, then you need to set up all the requirements for the automation. Yes, and how you are going to execute. For automation, you need to decide test process for automation, execution suits exactly the same thing for the automation. If you need to generate some reports, yes, then you need to associate some reports for the automation tools. If you use this test harnesses, what are the benefits you can get? It increases your productivity because you are not executing the test cases manually. Yes, you are executing these test cases by a tool automating them, so it speeds up. So that is one benefit. So it saves time, it increases the productivity. When you execute the manual test cases over and over again, you get bored and it is a monotonous activity. Yes, if it is a monotonous activity, you are more likely to make mistakes. So in that case, what happens? You will make less mistakes because it is automated. So once it is executed, there will be less and less mistakes. Regression testing is always automated because it is repetitive work. Yes, so increase productivity for regression testing. It improves the quality because you don't do manual or monotonous work. Manual testing can be done physically. You should be there physically and execute test cases. But if you automate these test cases, what happens? You can execute offline. You can set the time. Execute 8 o'clock when I go home, or execute the test cases to 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock midnight. So when you come back in the morning, you can check the reports. Yes. So
Yeah.
this is how the benefits of automation and using test harnesses. Writing automated test scripts. So now what happens? You have the harness test automation environment setup and everything is done, tools and everything set up. Then what you do? You writing the test cases. That is called automation script because you are scripting. Yes, you are using programming language and that's why you use the test scripts. But if you want to understand, then it is a test cases. Okay, let's go to the next one. Test execution. Now, in level 1, let's go to the level 1 again. In level 1, we decide, we analyze the requirements, design the test cases. Yes, everything is ready. Test 2. In level 2, what we have done? We have the test cases ready. So we have prepared the test sets. We prepare the test data so we can execute. We finalize them. We prepare the test process. Everything is ready. Yes, how you are going to execute the test cases? Even you have automated some of the test cases. So now what is left? You need to execute the test cases. Yes, how you are going to execute the test cases? So what are the process tasks you have for the test execution? Verifying test environment has been set up correctly. Verify test environment set up correctly. So in the previous phase, you have set up the environment, yes, the firmware version, the database type, database requirements. Based on that, the environment setup. Now we are verifying it. It is correct. How do you verify it? You simply execute the simplest or easiest test case, and if it works, then you say that the environment set up correctly. As for example, you are going to do automation, yes, and learning Selenium, and you say that how you can verify this. Then you have downloaded Eclipse, you have done this Java setup, done everything, yes. This part of environment setup, Java install, Eclipse install, and everything. If it is, forget about so far to the Selenium. But you want to verify the Java install correctly, then you simply execute one JavaScript and say that this works. And if it works, then say environment setup done correctly. Verify traceability between the test bases and test cases. Verify. Yes. Why you need to verify the traceability? You have done the traceability in the previous level. Yes. You match the requirements with the test cases and test case with the requirement. But when you start executing, sometimes you will find that this particular test case has not been linked with any of the requirements. So you verify that no test case is on, means there should not be any test case or any requirement. They are not linked. Yes, they should be linked. You need to verify that. You just generate some reports, and when you generate the reports, you will identify these kind of things. Even though as a part of process we execute and we link them together, but we still forget it. Yes, executing test procedures in planned sequence. Now you have the test procedures, so you execute them based on the sequence. Yes, so you have 1 2 3 4 5 in the sequence you have given the test sets. You need to execute them in sequence. If you don't do them, then what happens? You won't be able to identify some of the, you simple way, you might miss some bugs. Yes. If you are executing manually, then execute them manually. If you are automating, then you can automate them. Logging the outcome of test execution. Now you have executed the test case or test cases. Then you have to say whether the test case pass or fail. If the test case pass or fail, whatever it is the result. So you need to record somewhere. Yes, somewhere means in a tool, or if you are using Excel, then in the Excel attached to the particular test case. So you need to outcome. Now the test case pass or fail is done. Yes, you have the results you recorded. Now you need to compare the expected result with the actual results. Okay, why I'm asking you this question? Why are you going to compare the expected result with the actual results? We have discussed it, so that's why I'm asking, just verifying you understand whatever I explained. Do you remember? No. Okay, let me. So 2 plus 2 equal to 4. This is your expected result. Yes, but the result has come 5. So you, when you will identify whether the test case pass or fail, when you compare the expected result with the actual result. Yes, or the actual result with the expected result, whatever you can say. Then and then you can say whether the test case fail. I don't know 2 plus 2 equal to 4. I say 2 plus 2 equal to 5. Then if the 5 is a bug, actual, it is not 2 plus 2 equal to 5. But I don't know, and that's why I say, okay, I don't know expected result, so I will pass it. Then that is an error from our end. It's a bug. We missed it. Yes. Another example I am giving you. Your bank balance is £1,000. Now you have deposited £500. So your bank balance should be £1,500. But I don't know that much calculation and I don't know. This is the simplest example. Okay. Expected result. Then it comes only 1400. You might lose £100 somewhere. Yes. So this should not be done. So that's why in the test cases we have to have expected results. Then the expected result comes from the requirements specification. This is how you can identify the test case pass or fail. Report defects based on the failure. So now you have compare the actual result with the expected results and you identify that the actual result is not matching the expected result. That means it is a bug. And if it is a bug, what happens? You need to report it. So you're reporting the defects. Yes. Now you analyze it. What is causing the bug? Yes. Analyze the causes. What is the reason we have it's a bug is there? Isolate a defect. You need to analyze everything and then you can say exactly. Now you say repeat test activities. Repeat test activities. How? You repeat the test activities. You found a bug, you reported it, it was fixed, then you retest it. As for example, you found while execution, you found oh the requirement was incorrect. You might have missed it. Then you repeat the whole process cycle repeats. Yes. So repeat the test active, whatever required, you can do it. Any questions so far? Okay. Do you want to stop it? Okay, let's stop it. And probably